times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. You can't tell women to lower their expectations, but this is the reality. When you ask a man if you could have a woman who had 80% of everything you wanted, 75% say, yeah, I'm on board. When you say to a woman, a man has 80% of what you want, 75% say that's not enough. But even look at the media. What does the media tell a woman to do? He's out. But he didn't open your door. He's not nice to his parent. Walk right out on that man. Like it's literally every piece of media is you don't need him. You're a strong, independent woman. Pull the ripcord. You're out. The basic kind of communication around this is you are a strong, independent, powerful woman. That is wonderful. And quite frankly, you don't need the imperfect man. They're just not connecting. I read that on Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get one coffee, and then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get one coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online and they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault. And these men become much more prone to misogynistic content, much more prone to nationalistic content, blaming other people for the lack of economic opportunity. They start sequestering from society. I worry that we are literally evolving a new species of asexual, asocial male. And if a man by the age of 30 hasn't either lived with someone or married someone, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to have a substance abuse problem.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Unspoken with Zadok on Dominion TV. Hope you've had a wonderful time so far. Well, on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the topic, the male loneliness epidemic. Recently, from research we've been having, we've looked at it, and it's more of a concern that a whole lot of men are beginning to keep to themselves. A whole lot of men are beginning to abuse substances, to begin to go through depression. Some have even been diagnosed with clinical depression. And when you get close to some of these people and you speak to them, you find out that sometimes it's just because they've just find it hard to relate. Now, for some of them, they feel they are at a disadvantage for being men in the society. And as usual, I've got my wonderful team here, and we'll be talking about these in detail. Welcome, Itunu.
Yeah, my name is Itunu Oyetunji. I'm an IT enthusiast, a full-stack web developer. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
TJ.
My name is Tejiri Joanna Tialube, and I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah, my name is Omolo Asho. Thanks for having me, Zadok.
All right, TJ, let's start with you. What do you think of that video?
Well, I agree with that video, but to an extent. Right, I agree with it, but to an extent. It is true that societal expectation would sometimes push the men into isolation. And that is why I think a program like this is very essential to try and bring balance, into the society. Now, if the view out there is that you don't settle in quotes for a man, if a man is not giving you 100% of what you want, that you don't settle for a man, then not all men achieve that 100% at a certain age. Some of them, as they age, they attain those, So, and if we are not willing to build with a man, it becomes problematic at the end of the day. And so when a man approaches a lady he feels is a spec, gets rejected, turned down, goes to the next lady, the same thing happens, goes to the third one, the same thing happens. It begins to affect his own self-esteem, and it begins to also affect how he views life. And so he begins to see himself as not worthy of being a good companion. And so he begins to isolate. And if care is not taken, like you said, it could go into substance abuse. However, when such males, have this emotional grounding. What do I mean? If they've grown under the tutelage of well-balanced males, who understand that when a lady says no to you, it doesn't affect who you are. and that everybody will not succeed at the same time. So for guys, sometimes most of them or some of them would do well in their 30s, in their 40s. And so if you're expecting a man in his 20s to be that great, sometimes it might become problematic, like the society is pushing for now. You understand? Exactly. And in this remote age era where, people can work from home and earn in, dollars and pounds, it is not unusual to also see men in their 20s, doing so well for themselves. But is that the norm for everybody? I don't think so. So I think it has to do with, one, societal expectation, and two, it also has to do with the individual themselves. So if a man has approached 10 girls and they say, oh, what do you have? Do you have a Lamborghini? It is not a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of who they are. They are projecting, so you don't take that personally. However, if you're not attaining that state, it's because of your own laziness, then you should go and think and work on it. But if it is a case of I'm doing everything I think I can legally possible, then I don't think the person should take it, personally. Just keep on going, working on yourself, adding value to yourself. You will meet the right lady who would, align with you.
Yeah. So IT, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Well, she has said it all. And what I would likely add is basically there's a saying that goes by, cut your clothes according to your size. Most men don't even know their worth. They don't know what they want. So sometimes you go below your worth, sometimes you go way above your worth. And then when you go above your worth and you meet disappointment, it becomes you reinside, you isolate, and then start consuming content that shows rich ladies can't get, because the saying is, once a lady is rich, or maybe she's of a very high standard, they don't get men to. So you start feeding on those kind of things. That's why they don't have men in their lives, because they are rejecting.
And they will become obsessed with submission.
Yeah, so
start shouting submission.
Yeah, so if you start consuming those kind of things, so it's to validate your own weakness. So then it is a problem. It is a problem. So you need to know your worth. You need to know what you're capable of. You need to know yourself. So when you're approaching a lady, you analyze things, and when you talk to a lady, and what doesn't have to be material things. There's what in terms of how mentally balanced you are, how you can control your emotions, how you can. What values do you bring to the table? And because you might not be rich, but there are treasures within you that you can bring out. So if they see that in you, it becomes, the ladies are not dumb. They see things, and you just don't know it. So if you are not seeing that in yourself, you need to dig deep and start finding yourself to know your worth, so that you wouldn't either go below or way above. You'd be fine with. Yeah.
Do you ever get lonely?
Lonely at the door. Definitely, we all do. It's a normal feeling. It's I don't even think if you pinch me, I'll cry now. We do get lonely, yeah.
But let me ask you, Shane, what's the difference between being lonely and being alone?
All right, yeah. For me, I would say being lonely, it comes, right? Being alone, it's a feeling that comes, you open the door for it. But I believe there's always a stage to it. You can either be alone, and it's not by circumstance.
Okay.
Right? But when you say, you can even, as we focus,
being alone can just be deliberate.
Well, they even, like men say, I need my alone time. I don't think that's being lonely or want to be alone. Yeah. Do you understand? Some say it's part of you taking it at a quiet time when we're going in a prayer way. And some is just a time for you to reflect. Yeah. Just sit down, close your eyes, with your teeth, just check that, am I really doing anything? So for me, it's still, but bro, dealing with loneliness, it's, some absorb it so much that like I said, there's a level to it. When it now comes to you, maybe maybe drug abuse, substance abuse, then that means it's in already.
Or depression.
Or depression sets in. That means at that time you already, it's an admittance that I'm lonely, but I need a let out.
Okay.
So you take that as your own let out.
Can I come in from this angle?
Yeah.
I think loneliness is, I don't want to say, loneliness is not a bad thing. Like, being alone, and
I think being
alone is not a bad thing, but loneliness, feeling lonely is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So when you are alone, it starts from a very, okay, now let's check the progression, because I'm coming from people in their 20s, because it starts from that age. Because for people that you've grown up with, young kids, you measure yourself based on your friends, your classmates, the activities you do. Yeah. You guys go on excursions. I don't even know. Like, I remember we used to go on excursions. We go, kids play together and all those things. But then, when you start getting to your 20s, then there's a great scattering. Yeah, people are going to different schools. Yeah. People are finding what they want to do. People are moving out of the. So then you then start feeling alone. You then start feeling like, okay, what do I do with yourself? So it is not a bad thing to be alone, because I think it helps you to find yourself. Find yourself. But once you don't know that, you just, because a lot of people, they go with the bandwagon. In their 20s, they have a lot of friends. Till their 30s, they still have a lot of friends. That's when being alone will linger. It will not come at that point, because you have a lot of people around. It will not come maybe later when you are old and you haven't experienced it before. So it will come when you are old. You have not experienced it before, so you don't know how to overcome it. So if it had come at the time, at earlier stage, maybe you would have learned from it. So that's why you see old people having dementia, having all those kind of it's at different stages of life. So that being alone, you just have to feel it, and it's a very important time of your life. Because see, let me go into the Bible now. When God wants to consecrate, when God needs you, He will separate you. When God wants to use you, He will separate you. It's when He wants to call Moses. Moses was alone in the bush. Imagine when Moses went up for like months, he was there alone with God, talking to God. That was in being alone, finding what God wants for the people of Israel and so on. So when you are alone, there's so much depth in being alone. But once you don't know the value, or you are not doing anything in that space. So you are not doing anything.
So you need to find a way to harness it.
Exactly.
You
need to embrace energy.
What is the purpose of this being alone? You have to find the purpose of that being alone. If you don't know the purpose, you start being lonely.
All right. But TJ, now with social media, there's a gaming culture. Do you think it has been harmful, or has it helped people from being lonely?
Okay, I think it works two ways, but I think, like he said, it has to, we'll pick up from where he stopped. You see, being alone and being lonely are two different things that if care is not taken, we can merge them together and, and get lost in it. Now, if you are alone, like he said, it's an opportunity for you to look inward. What am I made up of? I can be alone and not lonely because I have tons of things to do. You understand, sir? I could have things I'm working on, personal projects. I could have books I'm reading, personal development. I could have courses I'm taking to better myself. So I can be alone, but not lonely. Do you understand? But you can be with friends and be lonely. Do you understand? So some people don't like to embrace that aloneness. So when they are alone, they want to reach out. That's why you see some people, they've not developed that emotional connection with, for example, if Itunu has sent me a message before, maybe he's on my WhatsApp and he sees my DP and he's like, "Hi, beautiful girl, how you doing?" I'm like, "Cool." And he's like, "Why is she like this?" So he stops. Maybe after like 3 months, guy is alone. You will just reach out again. "Hi." I'm not going to reply because I'm like, Are you sick upstairs? There is no connection. No, most ladies won't.
Oh, okay.
Most ladies, except you are pressing money, and they will reply because of the money. And after they chop the money, they will go. You will now start shouting that girls are.
Yes,
Do you understand? So it is you that you have not been able to embrace yourself. So if you embrace that being alone, you will develop character, as I said, that are different from maybe money provision. If you've not established a kind of rapport with me to warrant me also reciprocating, I don't think I want to give into that energy. Do you understand? So when you know how to deal with being alone, you'll be able to fight loneliness. Loneliness won't come in. So if you can handle being alone, when you see challenges that make you alone, you'll be able to handle it. But when you are always with friends, hanging out, if you're not talking some people run away from being alone. No. They are afraid of the emotional, burden. They don't want to embrace it.
So they cannot even be by themselves to even speak to themselves.
They can't.
One way or the other, you will still experience it.
You will experience it. So that is why the social media is becoming a problem. I said I was going to pick from where it stopped. Because social media has a way of making you feel close to somebody. Like I said, if you are telling me, hi, fine girl, we are not close. Just complimenting me like 1,001 people. What makes you different? Do you understand, sir? But in your mind, you have cooked up something that we are close. In his head, right? You have cooked up that, narrative. Yes, that we are close. And then you just ask me, oh, can I take you out? I'm like, how?
From where?
From where? Do you understand? So that way you now begin to feel alone. So I don't think relationships should be built on social media interaction, because at the end of the day, it's just surface level. We can be close on social media, sending each other reels, but we're not really close in real life. In real life, can I count on you? So in as much as we are all getting carried away being on social media, let us invest in that
real
physical
friendship.
Relationship. Let us build it. Let us invest in it. If I'm calling you, hi Zadok, how you doing? I noticed that you were not smiling yesterday. What's happening? You should also reciprocate. Don't be the kind of person that sponges affection. You understand?
You soak it all up.
You soak it all up, but you don't want to give. The day I'm frowning my face, you're like, Kiloshe, all right.
All right, last.
Do you understand? And before you know it, me too, I will begin to withdraw and say, show you a wound in my mind. I'll say,
all right. Now, with the pressure from work, with the new normal, you have people working remotely. So most times they don't even have the physical interaction because probably they are working around different timelines. So when they are meant to be interacting with people, when other people are sleeping, they are working. When other people are working, they are sleeping. If you find yourself in that shoe, or you probably work the normal 9 to 5, but by the time you're done, you are knackered. You don't even have time. You just want to eat and rest. How do you strike a balance so that you don't get lonely?
Well, I don't get lonely. I don't know how to put this. So I think it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a you thing. You obviously do what works for you. Definitely, if you're going to work, you have to have a social life apart from your work life. From your work life, social life, everything intertwines.
But some people do social media now, and then we've abandoned the real friendships outside. We just do, hi, hey, what's up?
What I think is you need to have your own personal timeline. What I mean by this is, if you don't have a personal timeline, like I'm on leave from work. So, and I've not been going out. So I wouldn't say I'm not a social person. I've been staying at home, but I've been enjoying my stay at home. Why? Because I have my own personal timeline. My brothers will they'll go for lessons. They'll come back home and meet me reading and listening to jazz music. They'll be like, bro, this is boring. No. This is not boring.
As if I knew it.
This is not boring.
No. As if I was anticipating that reaction from the brothers.
It was like, this is boring. Then I just called him, bro, see, in life, you would have this time where you just have to be alone and develop knowledge. Men need to search for knowledge. You need to search for knowledge. In your quest for knowledge, you start seeing life in a greater light than just what you have around you.
I think what happens to some of us, I can give from a personal perspective. I think we're just used to having people around us, and sometimes it takes you to suffer a loss, you to go through a particular phase in your life where everybody fizzles out, and then you are just left with you and you alone. And then you then discover that you can actually have intelligent conversation with yourself. Yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, really? Am I capable of this? Because at that period in time, you're doing a self-audit, because it's just you and you alone. You know, you're having to evaluate some of your life choices and think, could this have been better? Would I have reacted better? Yeah. Would I have handled this better? You know, but if you're not deliberate about it, you still wouldn't learn.
Yes.
Because another thing you would have done at that period, the period where I had suffered a very huge loss, you know, it's something that I've never ever been in that position before. I've always had everything working for me. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, my house was like a beehive, and then it just goes quiet. You know, I could just speak to myself, and you like, what happened? But over time, I think, I thank God that I had to go through that phase, because at the end of the day, I emerged better. My reasoning has changed. The way I handle certain situations have changed. You know, now you can't scare me with being alone or loneliness. I think sometimes it's that bad that these days I even encourage myself to tell myself, and you cannot be hanging out with DJ Pillow all the time. This is so wrong.
Can I give this scenario?
Yeah.
This scenario where there's this thing that bugs me a lot, where people think their problem is the biggest problem in the world. Mm-hmm. I had a friend. The reason why I had a friend was because he's late now.
Oh, sorry about that.
And we went to school together, and very vibrant guy, positive guy. Any room he enters, he lights up the room. He traveled out, he went to Canada, finished his master's, started working, and then he got to know that he had stage 4 cancer of the kidney. And how do you expect that kind of person? Like, for me now, I'm in Nigeria, I was feeling like my guy is not calling me, my guy is not this and that. I'll just see a lot of time he would go on a long rant on Twitter. Nobody's replying him. It would just be ranting, talking about life in how do I say this? With his own part, in his own way, he would just be talking about life. But I wouldn't be able to relate because I don't even know what he's trying to say. Yeah. I, as a friend, maybe based on the fact that I was going through something myself, I wasn't able to read deep into what he was posting. And then we then sometimes that makes me reflect that at the end of the day, you are not the one going through the toughest phase of your life. Yeah. Someone that is going through that kind of thing, like there's your death day has been signed that you're not going to live longer. So why not and this guy, you wouldn't know, he still lived like he didn't have it. He still lived. A lot of people around him still felt his positivity. So if you reinside yourself, isolate yourself based on what you're going through, you're not the one. You're not the only one. You're not the one going through the biggest, the worst.
But you know,
problem.
we handle loss, we handle grief differently.
Yeah.
A whole lot of I can talk from experience. A whole lot of things. In life, it's just about, you have to be positive about it. You know this song, but about alone, we are still the most. Even
yes.
Alone, you know that kind of thing from a Christian perspective. So I think the way we could all learn to relearn and just unlearn and just learn again and just be better. Yeah. Truthfully. So coping with loss too. It's another way of being lonely.
Yeah. That can push one into being.
Yes. Then there are some people when you have maybe you're dating, maybe they are best of friends, we are siblings, they are a twin, but they've so much relied on each other that this is the yin to my yang, you get, and all of a sudden the person just dies. How do you? Sometimes I have this thing in my head that if you've not gone through a particular facet of life, you can't advise the next person going through. You are not in that person's shoes. But majorly, even if you are, like you rightly said, you are not the one with the deepest shit. If you're only open to listen to other people's stories. But the way God created this world too, we have other people that you could talk to. Yeah. Is always very. I think the best solution is speak out.
Speak out.
Don't retract. Just speak out. You can. We can never tell where you can get your healing from.
Yeah, it's fine. I have a question I'm going to be asking TJ, but that will be after we come back from our break. Yeah.
That they weren't speaking about when you started your career?
I saw different economic crises. I saw men fighting about having the right to stay close to their children when they went through divorce. I saw men being out-earned by women. I saw gay men having children with something that had been completely inconceivable to them before. I mean, there are lots of major shifts that took place. Loneliness was not the story of men in the 19th century. Men hunted together, men hiked together, men gathered together, men went to the bar together, men had conversations with other men. There is nothing inherent about men that sets them up for more loneliness and isolation. Do you have friends? How often do you see them? Do you see them alone? It's 9 o'clock, you put your kids to bed, go have a drink with a friend, go have a walk with a friend, go chill somewhere. But stay connected, maintain your own connections. This notion that men more and more, as they entered into relationships, basically deferred to their female partners and neglected their own friendships and connections, I remember it really growing in front of me over the decades. That is really important to understand. Boys till the age of 4 and then till the age of 7 are highly emotional, they can articulate, so these are cultural phenomena, these are social developments. This is not biological, this is not intrinsic to men.
Welcome back, folks. Yes, before we went for a break, there's something I wanted to find out from you. Yeah, it's also related to the videos now. Yes, I think for men, when we decide to get ourselves into relationships, we decide or situationships, I think we just love that one person, we somehow kind of shut the door on other friendships. So no, you as a lady, would you encourage your man to still maintain his friendships?
Of course. Now, the thing is, I don't encourage relationships where each partner see each other as El Shaddai. Like, I'm everything to you. I'm your... I can't even... I'll be your mom. I'll be your girlfriend. I'll be your wife. I'll be your... No. It's not possible. It's going to be overwhelming because I also, as an individual, I have my own, stuff going on for me, right? So having to add your own entirety to my own will be overwhelming. I can't handle that. Same thing with the man. I don't expect the man to be everything to me. I just expect that you compliment me. We partner through everything. Now, one of the challenges, that women face is that they think that men are easily influenced by their friends. Now, and that is what I would always refer to as the unrealistic societal expectation. For example, we have this group of men who believe that once you're married, your wife is your maid. She does everything in the house. So if a woman sees that her husband's friend is telling her husband that, why are you going to the market for her? Why are you doing grocery shopping for her? Yep. That woman will not open her eyes and watch the friends try to, bring a problem. Yes, influence the husband negatively. So my own advice will always be... yes, now she will shut it up. You will not shut it. Me, I will shut it up. But I always advise that men should make quality friends. Friends whose value system align. Yeah. Do you understand, sir? Some men are even so problematic that they do things unthinkable at home. They will wash, they will do dishes, they will do everything. But they will come outside, laundry, but they will come outside and say, me, I don't drive. do you get it now, sir? So I think as men, I know that there is always these vibes and inshallah, there's always this senior chairman and all of that. But when it comes to quality friendship, move with guys who share the same values with you, that you can bring into your home, that when you're discussing with them, you don't send your children away. Your children can learn from those discussions. Yeah. Do you understand, sir? So build that quality friendship, that you don't hide yourself from them, that your wife can even feel free to say, oh, I have an issue with your friend. Eba mi basoro. Do you understand? Move with friends that your children can say, Uncle, I want to confide in you. And they know how to navigate it, So when that kind of balance is, I don't think it will be possible for the wife to say, I don't want you to. You guys will even be having retreats together, picnic, family picnic, and do you understand? Yeah. It brings companionship. Yeah. There's even less pressure on the partners. Do you understand? They're on the same. There are things that you may not want to tell me as your wife, but you may want to tell your friend, and your friend will say, Jẹ́ ká ṣe báyìí, má worry, má sọ fún ìyàwó mi má mọ bó ṣe má sọ fún ìyàwó ẹ̀. Do you understand? So it brings less conflict, but the key is getting quality friendships. Yeah. If you don't have quality friendships that can navigate that, where both of you share the same value system, if you go with friends who believe in drinking when you have problem, remember that when you're drunk, you're no longer in control of your senses. So at that time, a beautiful damsel can just pass. And they go tell you, say, Afana, you be wole. The girl becomes pregnant. That one will now add to the same problem.
And they will never help you with responsibility.
All right, so Shehu, now, as a father yourself, you have a son, right?
Yes, sir.
So how did the training your dad give you affect you as a person that you've learned to be resilient without being lonely, but you can be alone? Now, how do you pass that to your son as emotional intelligence to be able to follow the same line?
Okay, thank you. Well, there's this thing that you try to do. I suffered a loss some years back, and I still, how would I put it? Don't let me say I've gotten over it. I'm still in the process, yeah? So I don't want to be like I'm one tough guy like that. I try to talk to him, for him to understand that I'm walking this path, but it's okay, it's fine. It's not for us to decide. It happened, but we can still go through it. So from my dad, right? There's this thing too, because at least we still talk. He tried to advise. He tried to check up on everything and all. So it's always a thing of, when you have, there's someone checking up on you. My dad is checking up on me, and he's checking up on me to check up on my son too. I hope you're following up and don't put him, in the way we grew. They are kind of jet age, very fast and all. Let him understand these things. It's easier if he understands them, for you to know how to, so that you don't bring him back and whatever is happening outside, they're telling him different stories about some things that he doesn't even understand. You get me? So because I have someone that is always checking up on me, I have friends, my family has been fantastic, they're always kind of checking up. It gives me this sense of I can do better, I should do better, I can't be alone. Then for him, he has, when you have someone to, how would I put it? I can be in check of his emotional feelings. You get, because I have a backbone too. So that's why I said I'm not alone, because in that space, I have people that's always checking up. And
you have that support system.
I have that support system. So I try to make it a spring forth for him too. Like, guy, don't worry. We are in this together, whatever it is. What do you need to? What do you think? No. If you don't understand, let me explain it to you. Then, because God help us.
Yes, God will help us. Based on what you've said, that's where I'm coming to IT now. It's okay. For those who don't know, now, like you've said, the loss of your friend, it was after he left that you begin to understand what he was going on all about. Yeah. Now, we all might have people in our lives. Now, for some of us, we've been able to discover ourselves. We talk to ourselves, we've gone on a journey of self-discovery, and we reflect. But how would you advise people? What signs do you think they should look for in their friends that might be going through things that they might just, so they don't just feel like, he has started again, or this person, and maybe that's just the person's cry for help?
Well, I would say, I want to first correct the notion I made the other time about you not being the only person going through the biggest thing. It's not to be insensitive to your to whatever you're going through, but it's to help you develop a kind of art that has strength to be able to know that you're not the only one. You can talk to other people as well. So you can talk to other people. So yeah, based on the question is how do we know if your friend is going through something? The only answer I would say is just be present. Like, be present.
Because some people are good packagers.
Yeah, just be present. Probably they might not even tell you, but your presence in terms of because I wouldn't, if I ask you how far are you there and you don't tell me, or you don't, there's no way I would know. But my consistency in asking how far are you there, one day something would purge him to say, this guy is always asking after my well-being. Let me tell him something about myself. So that's it. For the father and son too, it is also just being present. Just be present. It is, you cannot, because they have their lives to live. Everybody has their own personal life to live. So if you're present, you will, one day, that person that's not able to talk to you, that person always see you around. It's like, how do I put this? It's like comfort. Like when you keep seeing that person, there's a level of connection you start having with that person that gives you comfort to be able to go to them and tell them. Well, a lot of fathers cannot even stay in the same room with their child.
They love it when they come into the room and the children base,
They cannot stay. Yes, now. They cannot stay in the same room and just be quiet. They are not talking. They are not having a conversation. Just be quiet. The son doing his own thing. The father doing his own thing. And they just be there. But that presence, that presence.
Just physical presence.
That physical, yeah, there's that presence. That presence should be there, and then the child will be able to know that, okay, I can talk to this man, because he has not made himself the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. And another thing I would like to say is, do not make yourself too perfect. Like, if you are when and then you start making the child feel less of themselves. And another thing is comparing children, comparing Kolori.
It's very wrong.
Yoruba people know how to do this. Show Lori Meji, show Lori Kinikoni, and
but they're probably trying to encourage you.
No, not in that form. Each child has individuality that should be explored. No two children should be compared. No, even twins, even identical twins.
All right. I would want us to go for a short break now, and then we would explore this further when we come from the break. Yeah.
Us to quit depending upon people to do what people can't do. So don't think for a second you can cure loneliness if you don't have a healthy relationship with God.
Right.
That's kind of what it comes down to. The true treatment for loneliness begins with exploring the possibility of a God who knows you and loves you so deeply that when you have a relationship with Him, every other relationship is better. And when you have a relationship with Him, if something happens and every other relationship is interrupted, you'll be okay. You'll be okay, because that relationship is enough.
Welcome back. Yes, so from the clip that we've just watched now, this is asking us to develop a personal relationship with God. Now, TJ, I'm coming to you now.
Okay.
So what of those who do not believe in a God?
I think for them, the struggle is more because they have to depend upon something. If they don't have a personal relationship, if they don't have a personal relationship with God, the other mechanic that God has created is the family structure. Outside the family structure, you have society. That's where friends come in. So if, for example, you say, no, I don't have a relationship with God, I don't believe in God, if you have a good family structure, you can still be saved. But if you don't have a good family structure where everybody is doing individualism, like I don't send you, you're on your own, you don't have good friends that can, the Bible says friends sometimes can be closer than brothers. We've seen the case of Jonathan and David, you understand? So we can have friends who would be there for you even more than your siblings would be. If peradventure you still don't find that, the next thing is, I'm telling you, you're either going to depression or you begin to abuse substance.
Another question based on that is, there are some really terrible people like that you cannot love them. Like, I don't know. They are really terrible people.
But they are going through something.
That's the thing.
What would
because
your
they've been
be?
terrible. They have to first work on themselves. Thank you. Build character. Build good morals. When you are a good person, it's not a given that everybody will like you.
But for some of them, it might just be trauma, PTSD.
They have to work themselves out of it.
I think.
How do they just work themselves out of
They have to reflect. No, they have to
This is what I would
self-reflect.
say to it. This is what I would say to it. I don't know. They said Jesus loves us even while we are still while we are still sinners. So I think a lot of people don't have the threshold to be able to handle a terrible person. You don't have a threshold you don't have enough love in you to handle a terrible person. I think we need to start developing. There was something that happened recently. I was talking to a lady and she told me, I'm not kind. I'm like, everybody around me, that's the very first thing they say, that I'm a very kind person and a caring person. But then, and I sat, if normally I would have said, I argued it, I'm kind, I'm this and I'm that, but I reflected in within me, what if I'm not as kind as this person wants me to be to them? Like, because there are different levels to being kind and being caring. So maybe God is, or something is, I would say God is trying to tell me to develop more kindness, because there are people you meet later, like maybe there's a purpose later in life for you that you meet people that would push you away even while you're still trying to show them love. So you need to develop more capability to be able to care and be kind to that person even while they are
I agree, but not totally.
Share your thoughts.
Wait till before Share will come in. The reason is you are not a therapist. You cannot unlove a wicked person. You cannot love a wicked person out of that wickedness or terrible nature. Why? Because you're limited as a human being. Do you understand? If you're not careful, you will be drawn into it and your own personality will begin to change. For example, now that person saying you are not kind might be gaslighting you into being a version that suits her. So that is why I'm talking about self-aware. I'm telling you. So kindness to her may be empty your ATM for me, give it to me. That is where you must be self-aware to know what is the limit. My kindness, for example, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said, was it yesterday? I can't remember. If I have 400 naira and you come to meet me to assist you with 100 naira and I have a need of 200 naira, maybe I want to pay my rent 200 naira. I can give you the 100 naira because I still have a change of 100 naira. But if I have 200 naira and you're coming to meet me to help you with 100 naira and I want to pay my rent with 200 naira, I'll tell you, I am sorry. I don't have spare to give to you for now. Do you understand? There is that boundary. I cannot displease myself and become homeless because I want to show you that I am a genuinely kind person. Do you understand? Now, I'm also coming. If, however, you have stuck your neck out for me in times that I knew was not convenient for you, I'll give you 100 naira out of my 200 naira. I'll pay 100 naira to my landlord and beg my landlord, please give me some time to balance up this 100 naira. Do you understand? Because you have done it for me. I'll be willing to do that for you. Do you understand? But a situation where you think that somebody is saying that you are not kind and you know you are kind, please, I don't want to believe that. Except you think that in that situation, you know, there are times we do things that we know that except in those situations.
Because if I allow us to continue, we are not going to round up this topic. So let's hear from Shem.
So what's the question now?
Yes. So what would you be advising those at home to do in such situations?
Okay. You need to know. You know, there was a time we brought was it doctor that said that you really need to know yourself?
Yes.
I think it was doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Michaels.
Yeah, Dr. Michaels. Yeah. That you need to. You can't give what you don't have. Know yourself, know your boundaries, know your limits, and in a way, how would I say, I support what Tej said, but another way, I might not, but it's different. We all.
It depends on the context.
Exactly. We will continue this conversation some other time.
Thank you.
Folks, it's been a wonderful time out here. I'm sure you enjoy what we have here. Well, follow us on Dominion TV, on YouTube. Stay tuned. Drop us a message. Drop your comments. Share your stories with us. We're willing to listen to you. Until we come your way next time, have a wonderful evening.